Hello and welcome to Tinto Yaps, that video where I go and have a look at all of the things that the developers have said over the previous week, all of their comments, responses, replies, and everything of the sort. We see what juicy tidbits of information we can glean about EU5, and then I pass them on to you for your perusal and entertainment, hopefully. If you would like to support me in this endeavor, the best way to do that is to, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. I would like to get to 30,000 subscribers before the inevitable rise and reformation of the Kingdom of Bohemia, which is, of course, happening any day now. So if you could help me out there, that would be super swell. Anyway, let us get into the Saturday building, of course, which is what we always start off with. We have the Republican Assembly. Very fitting, as obviously one day prior to the Saturday building, we had the Tinto flavor talks for Florence, which is, of course, a republic. So you're going to be able to build this building as Florence, which is, you know, kind of useful. It will give you a little bit more Republican tradition. It'll make your cabinet slightly more efficient, requiring lumber, tools, glass, fine cloth, books, gold, and marble as its production method, and the same for its construction, minus the books and the marble. Costs a lot of money, though, to build. That is a significant investment. Indeed. There are a couple of comments that I want to show you from this as well. The first being, what is the purple icon in the top left? That is, in fact, lovely that we have this information now, the building category. And this one, of course, is a government building. Hopefully, we'll get to see more types of buildings as the Saturdays roll in, and we can sort of see what the other categories are. And secondly, where are we going to be able to research this? Are we going to be able to research it if we are not a republic? No, we're not. It is only shown for republics. Of course, we know that advances are limited based on a number of different factors, like unique ones for different countries. But of course, being a republic also gives you access to unique advances. This is one of them. Now, that's all I got to show you for the Saturday building, but now we're going to get on to the main topic. You could call it the main topic. It's the Tinto Talks. It's the Wednesday Talks, where we learned about how AI is going to be able to control our armies. A lot of people are really excited about this. Of course, there is a reason that Victoria 3 went down the AI control for everything round, and that's because some people just don't enjoy using their army a whole lot. I'm not one of them. I quite like it. Of course, Imperator Rome is another example of where this was done slightly better, because they also had AI control of your various army stacks, but it was completely optional. And as Johan says here, they looked heavily on Imperator when they were designing this system. So if you want to get a little bit of a sneak preview on how this system will maybe work, give Imperator Rome a try. I actually recommend you do that anyway, because it is a really good game, unironically. It may not be very popular, it may have died a miserable death, but mechanically I think it is one of Paradox's better games. And yeah, kind of deserves the love, let's be honest. But anyway, to talk a little bit more, maybe tongue-in-cheek, about Victoria 3, Bloof asks here, with the introduction of the mechanics, will we still be able to directly control units? I don't know why this is a question. Is this just baiting out an answer like this? I don't understand. I don't understand why. Is it more of a mix between Victoria 3 system? Why would anyone want this? And the Hearts of Iron battle plans is the only method of controlling units? Like, we already know that we're going to be able to have manual control of units. And according to Yuan, manual control is what makes grand strategy games fun. I think this is quite funny. I do honestly think this is quite funny. To the point where I put it on Twitter. I just thought it was quite funny. I was not expecting it to get any traction. I was certainly not expecting it to get a couple of hundred likes, more than my average. But yeah, people seem to find it funny. There's a little bit of argue in the comment section below. I wouldn't worry about that. By the way, you should follow my Twitter. It's still called Twitter. I ain't gonna call it X. I'm not stupid. But yeah, no, I just thought it was funny, so I put it on Twitter. And yeah, there's lots of arguing down there. I was involved. I do like myself some arguing at times. How moddable is the AI decision-making with armies, not just by tweaking objectives? Will it even be that moddable, since in EU4 it's almost non-existent? So, Johanna, you're saying that some defines impact it, and it's one of those things that need to be 100% C++ for performance reasons. So, maybe these defines is going to be something like what Zorme has done for his AI mod in EU4, making the AI slightly better in that way. However, that's a lot more down to buildings and kind of like the process that the AI goes through when deciding how to build a country, rather than armies actually moving around. So I don't know if we're going to get any real... I mean, what is this? What defines impact it? And I'm here thinking my basic limited knowledge of modding. I'm thinking of the defines.lua file where you can tweak various values and such. Maybe it's going to have something along those lines, but maybe a modder will have a bit more information on this at some point. When we choose to repatriate units, that is when our army is black flagged and we can click a button saying, yo, bring my dudes back to my land. Will they all go back to the capital, or can they assign bases to armies where they can default to? I like this idea. Right now, it goes to the closest good place, which I will assume is something like a place that has a surplus food, or an amount of food growth in that area that this army can, sit there indefinitely without starving the populace out. I'm not sure exactly how what good place is going to be defined as, though, in EU5. How will automatic fleet transport select which navy gets to transport? An annoying thing in EU4 is when the closest navy is too small, and so it decides to use the other one on the other side of the world instead of using the closest navy to transport it piecemeal, which would be preferable. You set which one are allowed. Okay, so this is, of course, annoying. What I would argue is it is not the only annoying thing, or it's not the most annoying thing. So, if I have, say I have one transport fleet, because for the majority of a game, unless you're playing England and you're doing a lot of colonial stuff, one transport fleet is going to be enough if you're kind of only in a single region. And definitely splitting off that transport fleet from your main combat fleet or your main trade fleet is a good idea. The problem lies in the idea that, say I have 40 ships to transport my armies from England to France, and I have an army of 45, or 50, or 60, or 80, or whatever. I would expect using that fleet to transport the army, or half of it, and then try to go back and get the other half, and then everything is fine. And that works perfectly, right up until the moment that your combat fleet engages an enemy fleet and happens to capture a single transport. Because then what happens is when you select that automatic ship transport fleetness, you will wait until your combat fleet comes over and merges with your main fleet. And that's just really irritating. It just is really, really irritating. And I guess it's my own fault for not turning off the combat fleet from being able to transport armies. That's actually fully my fault. I really need to do that. But also, it's slower. It's legitimately slower. Especially if you're going between, like, Dover and Calais. That's 2 trips. That's quite literally 12 days, right? It's 3 days to come out of port, 3 days to go into the other port, 3 days to come out of port, 3 days to go into the port again. And I guess you're actually going to have to do that one more time. Whatever. It's a very short amount of days. I think it's 18 days. Anyway, it's a very short amount of time. But then the way that the AI in E4 wants to do it is to get that extra fleet to come and bring its cog over that it managed to capture in a battle, and that's a lot more. You're waiting months for that. That's just annoying. But anyway, yeah, it seems like it's going to be the same situation as EU4. I don't know. It is a little irritating sometimes, but that's kind of my own fault, and I'm pretty sure it's probably Black Cat's fault as well. We're just going to have to work around it. What about automatic rebel suppression? Yeah, that is something that was not mentioned. It's not working 100% yet, though, so it's not mentioned in the Tinto talks. And here, this is the important part. They only say things that are implemented. So basically, everything that we have seen in the Tinto talks is in the game that the devs are currently playing, right? They're currently testing. They're currently playtesting. Everything we've seen is that. Nothing that we've been shown in the Tinto talk is, this is what we plan for, right? Otherwise, we'd have learned about rebel suppression. This is what this is how the game is. We haven't done it yet, but we're getting there, right? Johan is not Peter Molyneux. He's clearly, I like this. I like knowing this, and it's not the first time we've seen something like this, but this might be the first time you've seen a video where I talk about this. This might be the first time that someone else has seen this. So I do think things like this do bear repeating and do need repeating as frequently as they come up, right? It's really important, and I think this is the right way to do things. Carpet Siege feels slightly weird and too artificial to read in the actual game. Maybe it would be worth renaming it to something like Siege Enemy Territory or Siege All Locations. So this is, of course, when you set your AI army to carpet siege an area, they will split up the army and they will spread out and they will siege and then they'll, I guess, converge again, maybe. And yeah, that's a community term. That's not something that was ever in the game. It is a pure community term. It is a term that we have come up with to describe a certain action in the game. Is it weird that the sequel has adopted this term? Maybe? I wouldn't have given it any thought whatsoever had I not read this. And would I now be upset if I saw the term Carpet Siege in E5? No. No, not at all, really. Do I think it is slightly out of place? Yeah, but it's a UI element. It's a UI... It's a button. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. So let me know in the comment section below if you have the same thoughts here as Nimajikuja. Yeah? Let me know if you think the same as this guy. Because I don't know. Like, I see where he's coming from. I personally don't care, but I see where you're coming from in this. So I want to kind of get a bit of a community sentiment, if that's alright. Maybe. Yeah, anyway, moving on. If multiple armies are assigned to hunt armies, will they coordinate common attacks on the same army to maximize chances of victory and minimize losses? They will look at each other, yes. This is huge. This is one of my biggest gripes, and I hope that when we're able to set these armies to independent actions, if that's going to be possible, or to just, siege these places, not necessarily carpet siege, but, siege forts and such, I hope they also look at each other when it comes to sieging. Because it's very irritating when two armies in Imperator are set to independent operations and they just immediately, or not immediately, but inevitably converge on the same siege, and then instead of having, 30k on a siege, you got like 60k because the AI are blind to one another. This though is very, very promising and very, very good. It's good. Very much so. What's the point of carpet sieging if when we flip the area capital, we flip the locations in the said area? Yeah, this is something that we had in Imperator, and it is fantastic, and it cuts down on the micro of sieging a defeated enemy substantially, and it is fantastic, and I love it. But yeah, big countries have a lot of provincial capitals, and yeah, if you want to have your AI do that for you, then go and have your AI do that for you. It makes sense. Very much so. I like that it's possible to set the AI to do it. I also love this system. I think it's fantastic. And again, for the second time, I'm going to encourage you to go play Imperator because, you'll be able to see how this works. And it is good, so you can go and enjoy it. But anyway, yeah, no, that's cool. But now we're going to be talking about Florence. Of course, we had our very first Tinto flavor for a country. Of course, the Tinto flavor 1 was about kind of the structure of the future Tinto flavors. This was the first country that we got, and I think it's a great choice for a first country. It is as I said on Friday, it is a country that I played in Mayo, Texas, very early on when I started playing that game, and I think it is a fantastic introductory nation to play when EU5 comes out. High population, skilled workforce, intelligent people, technology, all that kind of stuff is going to be really good for you. So I think it's a great choice. And yeah, we have some comments to go through here as well. One thing I kind of dislike in EU4 is how some countries have all these evil privileges at the start. In EU4, the player never gives any of these kinds of privileges, and they're something that only appear at the start. And it makes it weird. It gives the impression that the rulers before the game starts are just very stupid. I don't know. I don't think I agree with this. I don't think I agree with this at all. Because I think certain privileges should be given out to every country, right? And they don't always have to be the same, of course. If it's different for every country, that's, the best situation. But I also think that sometimes there will be bad privileges given out because not every country had a completely smooth sailing situation from start to finish. I do think that the situation we had with, for example, Byzantium in EU4 was a special case where they had like 3 or 4 very, very bad privileges that you must try to remove to even do anything in the game. But I think it shouldn't just be limited to them. Other countries should have them as well. They don't have to be as debilitating. They don't have to be as many even. But having some element of not everything is peachy and rosy, and also not everything is a complete blank slate like the majority of countries in EU4. Specifically, this guy and also Wildrake is talking about the Signora Council, which is giving stability decay and maximum tax for Noble's estate. But this is a bug. This is a bug. This stability decay is, in fact, supposed to be a positive stability decay, so it is decaying slower when it goes down. Maybe it also decays faster when it goes up. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it has been fixed, so it's now more the trade-off it was originally conceived as, so it gives more power to your nobles and you can tax them less, but they're happier and the entire political system is more stable. So yeah, that's cool. But I am another one that I'm interested in your thoughts for. Let me know what you think of estate privileges, and should there be negative ones in various countries at the start of the game. Again, it shouldn't be as harsh as Byzantium, but not every country had the blank slate or the smooth sailing. So yeah, let me know. Moving on though. Wow, but actually wow. And about the Uffizi. When can it be built? Is it tied to the Medicis being in control of the city? So the Uffizi, bloody name of that thing. Let me see if I can actually just quickly find the Uffizi so we remember what it does. Probably should have done this beforehand. Don't even worry about it. There we go. It allows the Uffizi building, and there it is. Crown power, cultural influence. This is the building. So you can get it after the Uffizi Advance has been researched in the Age of Discovery. The Uffizi Advance is this one here. This is what shows the advance it needs. This is Age of Discovery. And it is not related to the Medicis and can be built even if they are not ruling. Good to know. Does Florence start with the estate privilege, or do they have to be given out? It is on startup. Shouldn't it be Improve Relations with an S instead of Improve Relation? He's checking on it, whatever. But blah, blah, blah. And are there any unique events related to special advisors like for Da Vinci's paintings or inventions? Yes. Very cool. I like that. Can we allow Savonarola to take over Florence and play as him? Yes, and it would make Florence a theocracy instead of a republic, which is a very different path to take, and maybe makes the Savonarola disaster not really disastrous at all. Maybe you want to give, theocratic Florence a try, and maybe that could be a lot of fun. A disaster might not mean like the end of your game if you fail. It might mean the start of a whole different kind of campaign. I think that is super interesting. How do formables work? If Florence forms Tuscany, will it get its own events? No. Well, I don't know. That's kind of sad, isn't it? Does this mean Tuscany doesn't have any uniquely Tuscan events? Or is it just that they're all kind of tied to the original tag of Florence. Are there events that you would get as Tuscany that you would not get if you never actually formed the tag? I feel like there should be, and those should be called Tuscan events, but apparently not. I don't know. How expensive is it to hire one of the great artists like Leonardo da Vinci as Florence? Should I be able to hire all that are presented to me fairly easily, or are they a significant burden on our finances? How many should we reasonably be able to support with Florence's economy? So it is a money sink to your budget. How much it is exactly is still subject of balance. Fair enough. But let's put it this way. It will be comparatively more expensive in the early game than in the late game. So, yeah, we have no idea. Fair enough. Are there variants of the flag of Florence? What are the formables? So, Florence gets the red flag here if they join the Ghibellines, which is kind of cool. I like that. And then, yeah, they form Italy. Shame they didn't show the Tuscan flag, but, you know, you can't get everything you want. Any chance that we can get the White Company as a playable army-based country? Or is it just mercenaries that are just units that you add to your own army like EU4? They're currently just units, and they discussed that it would be interesting to have mercenary army-based countries, but it didn't make the cut, which is sad. However, maybe in the future. So maybe a hint towards a potential future DLC. Removing mercenaries as units that you can hire and turning them all into army-based countries. That would be really fun. That would be really cool. Playing as them or hiring them from another player in a multiplayer scenario. Condottieri countries sound like a really cool idea, and I hope that DLC does get made. Then we are back to this one. All right, that's it then. That is all that I have for you. This is it. This is it. We have the Saturday building, we have the AI countries, and we have Florence. Kind of a short one for Tinto Talks, or Tinto Yaps even. But I hope you got some information out of it anyway. And it was fun and entertaining. And yeah, you'll come back and see me make more videos on this game that we're all so incredibly hyped for. Again, Bohemia ain't gonna wait forever. So if you want to, help me out and subscribe before that happens, click the button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Anyway, I'm going to head off now. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, talk to me in the comment section. I read everything. And, yeah, bye.